Hello, this is Scott Jackson, your retirement mountain guide here at Jackson Private Wealth Management in, ironically, Cocoa, Florida. Flat as a pancake. Here we are with part 4 of our 5-part series. We're trying to get you up the mountain of life and back down again with as few issues as possible. So, let's say that you've got about 10 hours of light after you leave Mama's belly. Mama's belly is base camp. So you're going to spend roughly about 6.5 hours on the way up. That's the first 65 years of life. And then you're going to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3.5 hours on the descent. Those are the 35 years that we spend in retirement. So what's the biggest risk that we face on the descent? Well, in the investment world, we call it longevity risk, or living too long, if that's even a risk. I don't know about you, but that is one risk that I intend to fully embrace. I'm hoping to go the distance, the full 3.5 hours or 35 years in retirement. So if you and I want to live 35 years in retirement without outliving our money, what do we need to do? Well, we could put it all under the mattress. Is that the best place for it? Not going to work. Inflation will actually eat up our hard-earned dollars as we spend more and more on the same milk and eggs in the years to come. We need to create a hedge, that is, a hedge against inflation, something to keep up with rising cost. That's why we own stocks. They've offered the best long-term protection against inflation. Why? Because we're protecting ourselves from companies who are charging more and more money. How? Why? Because we own companies that are charging more and more money. Does that make sense to you? As prices go up, our investment portfolio goes up to help offset those rising prices. Now, I understand it seems a little scary, but consider the alternative. My granddad was a doctor, so he made decent money for his day, but then he spent nearly 30 years in retirement, despite being a true master of frugality. I mean, there were no updates to his house or car in the entire 30-year retirement, not to mention he didn't travel. He still managed to run out of money before he died. So how was the nest egg of a frugal doctor living a simple life not enough money? Well, in addition to helping his daughter and her children, he was very afraid of the stock market. My granddad was about 15 when the stock market tanked in 1929. My great-grandmother, Mama J, had to take in boarders just to help them to survive the Great Depression. Those memories, no doubt, caused him to avoid stocks and instead to have bank accounts strewn all over town. So what seemed like a nice nest egg when he retired didn't generate enough of a return for him to keep up with rising cost. That's longevity risk. He lived too long for the amount of money he had. So the challenge is obvious. We need to own stocks to keep pace with inflation, but we're all a little scared of the next big downturn. And we should be, especially if we're getting ready to retire or have just retired. Why? Because losing a bunch of money when you're about to give up receiving a fat paycheck is about the most stressful financial thing that you can go through. So next up in our special 5-part series on financial mountain climbing, sequence of return risk. Well, it does sound exciting, doesn't it? Sequence of return risk. Or as I like to call it, is Bigfoot real? So I hope you enjoyed this part 4 of this 5-part series on financial mountain climbing. To learn more about us and to see important disclosures, if you're interested, go to www.jackson.financial. If you happen to be worried about your portfolio risk at this moment, why not have a quick click on our link there on the home page, free portfolio analysis. Best wishes on a successful climb and especially a successful descent. Take care.